Hey guys, it's MilkMaster627, and today I am back with another video. So today I am bringing you old backyard versus new backyard. I came up with this idea because I wanted to know which backyard is better, old or new. So with that said, let's get into the video. So we're gonna start off with the old backyard first. So the old backyard had many places to explore. You got the top of the pump house, you got the actual pump house itself, the tree next to the garden, the shed, the field, the dirt area, tree next to the lanai, time machine, unknown area, and many more. And just so much stuff that I just had a lot of fun with. I even discovered new areas that I've actually never seen before, like behind the shed and the second unknown area, which I barely visited. But yeah, one of my favorite rooms in the old backyard was definitely the top of the pump house. And it was just really amazing up there. Along with that, gave me the option to create a bunch of new things, such as a hole, a workshop up at the top of the pump house, a time machine, and a garden. Amazing things like this knew that I still had the actual room itself during my actual days in the backyard. So, basically, the first workshop was obviously this very room, top of the pump house, and it became one of my alternate favorite rooms to the whole backyard. I actually have a whole video discussing the history of this room. Link to it will be in the description. In the old backyard, it gave me an even more big chance to actually create actual things such as projects in the bottom of the pump house during the time it was there. So basically, the old backyard gave me more advantage to actually make projects rather than the new one. But it has not stopped there. Nope. Now on to the new backyard, which is where I am now. The new backyard was obviously, again, much smaller, but it gave me a better chance to actually think of what I could do next after I left the old one. So, basically, it gave me a better chance of actually thinking, what can I do next? And then, I started naming areas. For example, unlike the old backyard, the new backyard actually had a name called the tripod area. And that gave me the one and only advantage to actually take the area. The other thing aside from the old backyard was there was never an area called the workshop. Nope. There was never an area called the workshop. So that's also completely new about this. Another thing that the new backyard offers now is due to the fact that it actually gives me, just like the old backyard, a bigger variety of what I could do literally now. And I honestly gotta say, that's pretty amazing. But really, things that the new backyard does not give me, aside from the old backyard did, was the fact that I did not discover much. That's the downside of the new backyard, is that I was not able to discover much as I really thought I would. That's the downside about it. There's barely anything you can actually explore that the old backyard did, which it did have a lot to explore. So now, let's see which backyard is better, now that we discussed both backyards. So now, let's see which backyard is better. First things first, let's see how huge each backyard is. So to start off, the old backyard, thanks to my mom telling me it, is 1 acre of land. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I asked her, how big is the old backyard? And she said, about an acre's worth of land. Now, how big is the new backyard? It is half of an acre, which I actually do not even know how much that is, but it is a half of an acre, which honestly is actually not that bad. Despite it being very small, it's actually not as bad as you really think. So yeah, the old backyard is an acre, and the new backyard is half of an acre. Next up is the amount of things you can do in each. The old backyard, you could do there's actually about 12 different areas you can go to in the old backyard. as I said in the beginning, there are, again, yeah, I told you the names of them, but in the old backyard, you could technically do whatever you want. You could even take over the top of the pump house, now that I'm not there anymore. You can literally take it over now if you want, whoever decides to take it over. But yeah, you could create, like, in the old backyard, you could create holes, buildings behind the 2 trees where the time machine was. You can take over the top of the pump house. You can go, like, into the white shed, which I went into a few times while I was there. And you can even, if you want, dig even more holes if you want. I know, it's crazy. There are so many things you can do in that backyard. And the amount of things you can do there is beyond me, actually. Despite me being there before. Like, you could even pick up sticks. You have like an acre of land to throw around whatever you want. Now, what can you do in the new backyard, you ask? Well, here you go. You can do basically anything you want. Despite you not really having much space as the old backyard, despite having half of an acre, you can still throw out whatever you want. And the only downside is, for my workshop, it isn't as big as the old one. Basically, wait, hold on. Whoa, my screen's actually out of date. Look at that. Whoa, that's weird. Huh. My screen was actually out of date. Look at that. But yeah, you could do like, I know like, you can still dig holes even though there's actually pipes underground, which is actually a downfall for the new backyard. Another thing you can do is climb over the fence, which is something we never did before in the old backyard, despite there not really being any fences there at all. Except for that wood one, which was torn down in January and replaced with a barbed wire fence, if you remember. But you could even climb over the white fence. You could even go behind the shed, which actually the shed is much smaller than the original white shed. And I think I've gone inside there. No, we've not even gone inside there before. I'll show you guys that soon enough. But let me first of all tell you, it is a lot smaller. And plus there's a bunch of junk in there right now. But I will show it at a point in time. But yeah, despite this, yeah, in the new backyard, you can still do a bunch of stuff. You can even still do stuff like with the tripod. Even though my workshop is much smaller, first off, there was never a shelf where I could place my stuff on top of. That is a huge upgrade to my workshop. Yep, you actually get an actual workshop that actually, quite literally, has a shelf in it. Insane, right? Well, that is not all. Definitely not all, because this time there's actually an actual platform you can actually go to in the workshop. Oh, sorry about that. I actually have to fix the screen because something was going on with it. It's kind of glitching. But yeah, you can do a lot more stuff there in the new backyard. Not as much as the old one. I mean, like in the old one, you can do like, you could obviously like make huge paths. Like you could like, you have like an acre's land that you can actually run around and do whatever you want. But the only downside to the new backyard is you really can't do much in it. I mean, despite there being a good amount of space for you to run, there really isn't much that you could actually do there. A good thing about them is that both of them each have a good amount of trees. And the new backyard actually feels very similar to the old backyard because of the trees. I've even actually found a few animals back there. Well, in the background, over the old backyard. The new one to be exact. I find them very good. The only thing is that they're like much small. They're both a very decent size. So which one is better? Let me know in the comments below. But guys, that's it for the video.